the fence.
Oh, and a goal.
Walking in front of him, he's inside the 10.
Oh, blocked from behind.
Cut off the glass, but no problem at all.
Fifth, one for the cradle.
Got locked up.
One guy that's got an angle on it, and he cuts back on it. Damn ball! That couldn't corral the
Deep
ball.
fly to right field against the wind. It's out of here.
Buries it. We're tied at 19.
Hello and welcome to the Mason Softball Complex here in Mason, Ohio. I'm Joey Deaton alongside my partner Thomas Mariner, and we thank you for tuning in to ICRC-TV Sports. And we've got quite the matchup for you here today, as the undefeated Mason Comets will be taking on the undefeated Lakota East Thunderhawks. Thomas?
Yeah, it's been quite the season so far for both teams. The Comets 7-0. And the Thunderhawks 6-0, so it's been quite a success for both teams. And Lakota East doing so without, according to the Butler County Journal-News, the best player in the GMC, Rachel Lewis. She's been suffering an injury the entire season. And head coach Steve Kastner of the Lakota East Thunderbirds is not speculating on when she'll return.
So we've got quite the pitching matchup coming into this game, both teams with star pitchers. There you see Coach Muff of the Comets. The Comets will be starring Ellie Buffenbarger for the home start today, while the Lakota East Thunderhawks will be starting Kiana Tao. Both pitchers, of course, undefeated and have been putting up impressive numbers.
Yeah, Ellie Buffenbarger and Kiana Tao really splitting numbers. Ellie Buffenbarger tied for first in wins in the GMC with 5. And she is tied with none other than Kiana Tao. Ellie Buffenbarger also second in the GMC in ERA for pitchers who have played at least 4 games. That's 1.31 ERA for Buffenbarger. 13.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. And that's pretty crazy, considering that that's about half of batters that you're striking out. It's pretty impressive for Buffenbarger. 2 shutouts so far. That also shares the lead for the GMC.
And definitely a great matchup we will see. Lakota East led by Coach Steve Kastner. Many Mason followers will hear the name Kastner and kind of do a double take. Right,
yeah. We discovered that. When we discovered that, we kind of assumed that it was just a coincidence, but it turns out Steve Kastner and Brian Kastner are brothers. And the softball connections are just absolutely insane. Steve Kastner is the head softball coach, for Lakota East. His assistant coach is Keith Kastner, another brother. The Lakota West softball coach is also his brother. The West softball coach is Keith Kastner, and Brian Kastner, who's the head football coach at Mason, used to be the head softball coach. So a lot of connections going into this one.
But as you see, the East lineup, it's up and down, great roster, and could potentially give Buffenbarger a challenge.
Yeah.
As they're coming off a big win yesterday, Thomas.
Yeah, and a couple big names to watch. Corin Haverland is 3rd in the GMC with a .632 batting average, and Hannah Messer is 7th with a .600 batting average. So 2 very high percentage hitters. Doesn't really compare to the Comets, but we'll get more into that at the bottom of the first. And as you just said, they won 11-1 against Hamilton yesterday. So coming off a strong showing against a team that was 3rd in the GMC. So we'll see quite an exciting matchup tonight or this afternoon.
Something that's been a trademark of both programs is the youth talent that has really been coming up from the underclassmen and coming out into the field to start the top of the first for the Comets will be 3 sophomores playing outfield.
Yeah, Zoe Bishop, Olivia Popovich, and Jillian Aquilia, 3 players that have far exceeded expectations. Not expected to play, huge roles on varsity, but they really have blossomed in the short time that they've had and have made the case. Jillian Aquilia, 5th in the GMC in batting average and also making an impression in the outfield as well. And it's been a great season. Olivia Popovich is 6th in the GMC with a .609 batting average, and Zoe Bishop is tied for 3rd in the GMC in home runs with 2. So a young season for all 3 of them, but they've really shown that they can be players that can play a huge role on this team.
And when we're talking the young talent, got to give a special shout out to the sophomore playing first base, Ellie Buffenbarger. Or I'm sorry, not Ellie Buffenbarger, that's the pitcher, but Elena Harrison will be starting first base for the Comets.
Yeah, and Harrison is number 1 in the GMC, .773 batting average and an .808 on-base percentage. More than 4 out of 5 bats she gets on base somehow. And that's unheard of almost. I mean, keeping up those numbers is going to be quite the challenge. And as you see, her warming up right here, 9 runs and 15 RBIs. And 773 batting average, as we said, is just absolutely insane for especially a sophomore.
Yeah, and something else to really take note of is just kind of the overall athleticism of the young talent. Olivia Popovich playing center field. A few weeks ago, she had an early commit. She committed to Xavier for soccer. So that just kind of shows the overall athleticism of this young talent.
Yeah, soccer and softball, 2 very different skill sets that you need. I mean, speed in both, but you don't really use your hands at all in baseball or in soccer. But in softball, you really that's the main thing you use and the main way you have success.
So as both teams have been getting ready to get rolling here, as you see the Mason softball girls getting around home plate to get ready to go in this one.
Just some more drills and getting psyched up for this game. I mean, this is going to be just an incredibly exciting game. This game could really go either way because the matchups that Mason and East have had thus far, they've really been very even in so many ways. You can't see an advantage pointing in one direction so much. Both teams have played about the same amount of games, and they've fared similarly against the same teams. Mason beat Hamilton 12-1, and Lakota East beat them 11-1. And it's that kind of thing that just adds to the suspense. Similar situation, Mason beat Lakota West 7-1, and Lakota East beat West 5-0. So very similar matchups, and it's going to be interesting to see if both teams can keep their high level of play up.
And yeah, as you said, it will be another clash between GMC Titans for sure. And as you see, the 2 coaches exchanging the lineup cards. As you mentioned, last year, these 2 teams clashed, and I believe that went final in extra innings with Mason taking it here at home, and one that definitely went down for the ages, as I believe the final score was Mason over East 9-8 in 11 innings, or something crazy like that. That kind of just shows just how good these 2 teams are and how competitive and how closely evened out they are.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar result this year with just the even level of talent. Mason won the conference last year, but this year it's a toss-up, and this game could be the decider. I mean, it's just been such a neck-and-neck race so far. And they will meet again in May at Lakota East. This game could really set the tone for the rest of the season and ultimately for that game on May 4th.
We talked about the young talent in the outfield for the Comets, as well as Harrison at first base. But something that the Comets had coming into this season was the lack of the seniors that graduated last season. I believe it was 9 seniors that were on the roster from last season, and a lot of really good girls that this softball team had to come back without to see how they would fare, and this will definitely be the hardest test Mason has faced so far this season, and will probably be the hardest face. It could be the hardest team they face all season until we hit the postseason. So to kind of show this Mason roster, they've been impressive so far, and now in a battle of the unbeatens, it'll be really a measuring stick to see how they will fare this season.
Yeah, 2 big seniors last year that the Comets lost. The athlete of the year in the GMC, Gabby LaSala, she was a big presence on this team, and that's one void that they're going to have to fill. And another one is that of Jordan Sullivan, the outfielder, also graduating. So in that also reminds you of the young outfield that we have, composed of all sophomores. So really just setting the stage for a youth movement for the Comets, and it appears the sophomores are ready to take over.
And the one girl you didn't mention, those girls were both first-team GMC, and then Haley Ellis also was a girl that could bat it 400 feet. Haley Ellis, every time she came to the plate, you knew there was a very good chance that she could be batting it and the ball could be sailing high over the fence. She smashed the GMC single-season home run record. I believe she finished with 12 or 13 home runs, which is unheard of for Mason softball. And, of course, as I said, smashed the GMC record.
Yeah, and let's go back to the coaches for a second. Steve Kastner has a record in 27 years of 465 and 220, and I'll come back after the national anthem with more staff. All right, as I was saying before about the coaches, Steve Kastner of Lakota East has a 465 and 220 record in 27 seasons as the head coach of either Lakota or Lakota East. He started coaching before the split of the 2 schools. And he has, in that time, 4 league championships, 15 sectional championships, 9 district championships, and a regional championship. And on the other side, Leanne Muff from Mason is currently in her 6th year as head coach. And she has a 118 and 39 record. She took over for former football coach Brian Kastner in 2011 to become the softball coach. And before that, she had been an assistant coach for the program since 2003. So she's been with the program for almost a decade and a half and head coach for 6 years now. So 2 veteran coaches, a bit different scale on that, considering the 20-year difference between the 2, but both coaches that have had great success and that know what they're doing.
Yeah, East definitely with the experience, but Coach Muff of the Comets definitely coming off of that regional final appearance last season. The Comets dropping a heartbreaker in the final game of the season, 2-1 in the regional final against Lebanon. And That's a game that went to 14 innings and could have gone either way. Ninth inning and on, as stepping up to the plate will be Jacobson of Lakota East. Ellie Buffenbarger on the hill for the Comets. First pitch from Buffenbarger is outside, called a ball.
Yeah, it looked like may have been an attempted slapstick there by Jacobson.
Number 2 from Buffenbarger. It's called a strike, catches the outside as Buffenbarger looks to paint that outside side of the strike zone early.
Yeah, 1-1 count, and looking to build on that in the strike area.
Swing and a miss from Jacobson, and Buffenbarger is 1 strike away from opening up with a strikeout. The 1-2 from Buffenbarger. And then fouled away by Jacobson. And it will sail into foul territory, and it will remain at 1-2 for Jacobson.
Buffenbarger trying to get that first K of the day, but it's for the time being evading her. Jacobson stepping in close to home plate.
Ball outside for now 2-2. Two and 2 from Buffenbarger.
Just a little wiggle room.
And it will be popped up into near the third base, and it will be caught by shortstop Allie Weekley, just a freshman, and one more young girl in this Mason starting lineup.
Yeah, the youth in the infield and the outfield has been prevalent for the Comets and showing in the first at-bat.
First pitch to Messer is inside. 1-0 the count. Buffenbarger inside again, 2-0.
And pitched it to the same exact place twice, a little bit close to the batter. She has to try to reform and get it in the strike zone.
Third pitch is inside for a strike, 2-1. Buffenbarger draws even.
Yeah, it looked like Messer was going to try to wait that out and see if she could get a walk. Now she's going to have to be forced to swing.
2-1 goes high, and Buffenbarger's in danger of giving up a walk. Three and 1 is inside for ball 4, and Buffenbarger gives up a walk to the second batter of the game against Lakota East. Coming up to the plate is first baseman Manning.
Yeah, and Messer gets on base again. She is now over 2/3. She had a .667 percentage, and now that's moving close to 700.
Manning tries the bump, but it fouls back over the home field fence.
Yeah, luckily no viewers standing in that area, and no one had to duck out of the way for that one.
Ball outside for now 1-1.
Messer on the year, Manning on the year, not having a great year so far. 125 batting average at 16 at bats.
2-1. And a swing and a fly ball will be caught by Olivia Hopkins, playing second base. One of the seniors coming back from last year's squad. Olivia was one of the Comets Players of the Week, along with baseball senior Vince Vanelli. 2 outs for the Comets. First pitch to Butikoffer is swing and a miss for a strike.
Beautycoffer's got to be just a little more patient and wait a little bit longer for that pitch.
0-1 from Buffenbarger is going to be called. Looked like the umpire was wanting to call a foul, but let it go after the quick hopper to Buffenbarger threw out the runner.
Yeah, that was a strange play right there. I'm not sure if it actually hit the bat, because from my vantage point, it didn't. I couldn't conclusively see that it did, but either way, it's now for the Comets, and on we go to the bottom of the first. And escaping with 0 runs out of the first, or 0 runs allowed for the Comets. And they'll have a chance to
after
lead.
giving up the early walk, Buffenbarger gets out of the inning. Still has yet to give up a hit, as she got a little help from her field and getting the 3 outs, and we'll be looking to see Kiana Tao taking the mound for the Lakota East Thunderhawks.
Yeah, her bid for a perfect game is already over, though, after giving up that walk. I mean, not exactly the best day to try to go for that perfect game, especially against such a worthy GMC opponent.
So it'll be the Comets lineup taking the field, or stepping into the box for Mason.
Leading off will be Erin Rockstro. She has made the news in the recent week. She committed to Cornell, and Mike Dyer did a piece on her dual threat on the field and in the classroom. She got a 36 on the ACT, which is, for those of you who don't know, a perfect score, and that kind of explains why she's committed to an Ivy League school. Just a crazy smart and crazy athletic as well.
Yeah, I believe OHSAA Sports also gave her a shout-out tweet with a would you rather, 36 on the ACT or a 560 batting average. So she's really been bringing it, and kind of like your example of a student athlete.
Yeah, that's model student athlete right there.
Leading off for the Comets will be third baseman Erin Rockstro, a senior that's coming back after batting in the starting lineup last season.
Rockstro has a .607 on-base percentage.
As now we'll be able to see the how Kiana Tao will face against these Mason batters, as Rockstro swings early, but it'll be caught in shallow center field by Beautycoffer.
And almost escaping with that one was Rockstro, but just a little too far, or a little too far, and it was just in the reach of Beautycoffer. And let's
Now Popovich stepping into the batter's box.
just go over some stats for Tao quickly. She's first in the GMC in ERA, with pitchers that have pitched at least 4 games with .64.
Popovich goes for the slap and sends it foul. Popovich batted 9th for most of the season a year ago as a freshman.
Said she's playing a more prominent role in just her sophomore season, batting second.
0-1 goes inside and called ball. 1-1. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Outside is tapped, and it will be a foul ball. And now 1-2 for Olivia Popovich.
Tao's also tied for first in the GMC with Buffenbarger in wins with 5 on the season, and she leads the GMC with 57 strikeouts.
Olivia Popovich sends another one foul back over to her home dugout, and this kind of shows Popovich's resiliency in battling through an at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you can continue and get the foul balls when you need to, and be able to extend your at-bat. Tires out the pitcher because they have to throw more and allows you more opportunities to get a good hit.
Pavlovich sends a pop-up that is caught by the shortstop Jacobson. So a pair of flyouts will open up this opening inning for the Comets.
The Comets need to try to cut down on those fly balls because that's kind of held them back a little bit. They just need to get a little bit lower, and they've been hitting in the right place, but just giving the outfielders a little too much time to get to the ball.
Tao to Hopkins is way outside, went behind her.
Yeah.
And kind of a wild pitch
Yeah, I don't think
there for Tao.
I don't think either one of them expected that. And that's a rare miss for her. She's been one of the most accurate pitchers in the region so far this season.
1-0 to Hopkins. It's going to catch the corner, 1-1. As you talked about, Tao fatigue could play an issue, as I'm assuming Tao will be pitching the entire game here today. As another one flies behind Hopkins' head.
Yeah, that was a little bit more dangerous. She had to duck to avoid that one.
And it'll be 2-1 with Hopkins in the box.
Tao's to find her game a little bit, try to keep East in this one and not give up an easy hit.
Tao 2-1. It's going to be outside for ball number 3. And Hopkins will be ahead in the count, 3-1. Before every pitch, I was checking the armband on her wrist to make sure she gets the pitch right, and a full count after a strike catches the edge of the box.
Full count, and this pitch is pretty crucial because it could end the inning or extend it and allow the Comets to take a lead.
And a swing and a miss from Hopkins will end the inning as Tao picks up her first strikeout. And the pitching battle that we expected, surefire, as we see a scoreless game with, I have yet to see a hit so far, with just the single base runner for Lakota East, Messer, getting on because of the walk from Buffenbarger.
We'll be right back. We're going to take a break and we'll be back for the start of the second.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
And we are back for the second inning as the Comets are taking on the Thunderhawks in a crucial GMC matchup. 0-0 at the end of one, and Buffenbarger will pitch once again in the second.
Coming back onto the hill is Buffenbarger, and it'll be the one of the best hitters in the GMC, Haverland, stepping into the box as well.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Haverland third in the GMC, .632 batting average. She's had quite an incredible season.
First pitch to Haverland will be high and called a ball.
Now, these two teams have 6 of the top 7 hitters in the entire conference. That's just such a crazy stat, because when two teams have such a monopoly over the other 8 teams in the conference, it really blows me away.
Swing and a miss from Haverland, bring a 1-1 count. Buffenbarger. Outside will be ball number 2. Buffenbarger, coming back this season as a junior, was the #1 girl last year as well. So definitely coming into the season with a lot more experience. 2-1 is fouled off. Sent back over towards the football field as Buffenbarger is a strike away from the strikeout.
2-2 count, and just trying to end this right now is Buffenbarger.
And the umpire will say that Haverland wins, and Buffenbarger earns her first strikeout of the afternoon.
Yeah, not quite on pace for her usual number of strikeouts is Buffenbarger, but not a bad start for her, as she hasn't allowed a single hit or run.
Right fielder Kate steps into the box and starts off with a swing and a miss. Buffenbarger starting to feel it for the Comets.
Yeah, she is, and once you get in the zone as a pitcher, it's not easy to get out, and vice versa. You know, if one misstep for a pitcher can really set you off, and what you have to have is the mental advantage in this game, especially if you're a pitcher. And if you have the mental toughness, then you really give yourself an upper hand.
Foul ball, and Kate finds herself in a 0-2 hole. Buffenbarger, and it's going to be just outside for a ball and 1-2.
Yeah, Buffenbarger's giving herself a little bit of wiggle room, starting off with the 0-2 count, and now she has to finish off strong.
And swing and a miss, and Buffenbarger gets her second K of the second inning.
Yeah, 3 Ks in an inning, which at this point seems attainable, would be a huge accomplishment and a huge morale booster for the Comets.
And for Buffenbarger as well, leading into the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure her confidence is already pretty high based off her performance throughout the season, but that would really boost it even further.
Number one pitch to Kiana Tal is ball outside. It's always intriguing to see a pitcher-on-pitcher duel, because one pitcher kind of gets a bit of a better idea of what the other girl on the mound is feeling, and a swing and a miss from Tal, leaving the count out at 1-1.
Yeah, and a pitcher battle really decreases the amount of scoring and makes the importance of each run that much greater. And it looks like we might see a 1-0 or 2-1 finish, like we saw in so many tournament games.
Outside for ball number 2.
Buffenbarger kind of puts herself in a hole. She doesn't get a strike here.
2-1 to Tal, inside for ball number 3.
That was just a little bit outside of the strike zone, and now Buffenbarger is likely to give up a walk here. See if she can overcome the odds.
3-1 is high to Tal, and Buffenbarger gives up her second walk of the game.
I mean, this has been what she's done in both innings so far, give up a walk. And it's really not a big deal if you clean it up afterwards.
As it looked like number 2, Danielle Ellerman for East, coming on to pinch run for Tal. Something that we'll likely see from the Comets as well.
Yeah, we have 2 expected pinch runners. Bree Grimes will pinch run for the catcher Brooke Rice, and Abby Mullins for Ellie Buffenbarger.
As Ellie has bowed to two outs in this inning, and looking for the third as the first pitch goes inside and catches the side of the strike zone for strike 1.
Buffenbarger starting out strong and trying to make it insurmountable to get the 4 balls.
Ball outside to Reich, 1-1.
Reich has a 182 batting average, 308 on base percentage, which is bottom half of the team.
Two and 1. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Buffenbarger, the 2-1 to Reich. The outside for ball number 3 as Buffenbarger is in danger of giving up a second straight walk. 3-1 to Reich. Swing and a miss, and Reich will be looking at a full count with 2 outs.
The biggest pitch of the game so far right now could lead to 2 on-base runners, or the end of an inning, or the end of a half of an inning.
And a ball popped up to Buffenbarger, and an athletic catch made by the Comet pitcher, as that will end the top of the second. And we will move into the bottom of the second with a scoreless game here in this duel of 2 of the top pitchers in the GMC.
Yeah, Buffenbarger right there did a good job of tracking the infield fly ball and ended the inning in a way that probably wasn't expected. In a full count and a hit that could have gone either way if she hadn't hustled to that faster and hadn't tracked it right away.
And leading off for the Comets will be first baseman Elena Harrison. And we'll get a chance to see that 773 batting average that leads the GMC.
Yeah, it'll be impressive if she can keep that up today. Yeah, especially against the top pitcher in the GMC, the top hitter against the top pitcher. This is what we want to see. You know, when we're broadcasters and watchers of this sport, we want to see the battle between the great pitcher and the great hitter.
Great versus great is all you can really say, as something's got to give between Tao and Harrison, as she'll be stepping into the box.
Yeah, fatigue is going to kick in for one of the pitchers, and whoever doesn't get fatigued might be who wins their team the game.
Leading off for the Comets, the first baseman number 23, Elena Harrison.
So here comes Harrison for the Comets, as the infield for East gives some last direction and motivation, and Tao will be going off again, and Tao will be stepping up in front of the mound against the leading batting average in the GMC.
She gets on base more than 4/5 of her at-bats.
Swing and a miss will lead things off for Harrison. She finds herself at 0-1. (0-1) to Harrison. Inside for ball number 1.
That one appeared to be a little low and outside of the strike zone.
Catches the outside of the strike zone for strike number 2, and Harrison finds herself at a 1-2.
That one really could have gone either way. It looked like it was pretty far away from Elena Harrison, but just inside to get strike 2.
Swing and a miss from Harrison, bounces off the catcher's glove, and ref called a foul.
It might have just glanced off the very tip of her bat and off a bit of a stroke of luck. It continues.
Harrison battling through the at-bat. The 1-2 to Elena will be outside, and Harrison will remain in the box with the 2-2.
I think Tao may have gotten a little excited there after that third swing and a miss.
And a hard fly ball driven to center field will be caught just in front of the gate. And Harrison will fly out to open up the top of the third.
Yeah,
the bottom of the second.
You see that it's just the difference of 2 or 3 feet that would have made that an out and a home run. And that's just crazy that on one of the at-bats that she doesn't get on base, she almost gets a home run. It's
shows you the power of the Mason Comet batting lineup.
It really does.
As Bishop steps to the plate, gets a ground ball to first base. Bishop will be unavailable to avoid the tag from first baseman Manning. And just like that, Brooke Rice will be stepping up to the plate with 2 outs.
Yeah, Zoe Bishop is the one who leads the team in home runs. And she there hit a ground ball that didn't exactly pay off for her, but Brooke Rice will have a chance to hopefully get on base for the Comets if you're a Comet fan, and if you're a Thunderhawk fan, hopefully this can be the at-bat that ends the inning.
Tao opens up with a strike to Rice. Tao saunters around the mound.
Rice is batting .318 on the year.
As a foul ball comes right up back towards us in the press box.
Yeah, that almost went through the open slot in the window, about 2 feet away from us right here. That was an interesting experience.
As the 0-2 to Rice will be just outside, and Rice will stay in the box.
1-2 count. And Tao looks to end it right here.
Tao checking her wristband for the call. The 1-2 to Rice outside. It'll be 2-2. Rice really forcing Tao to throw a lot of pitches to get the out.
Yeah, Tao is trying to make Rice swing falsely there, and Brooke Rice did not bite.
2-2 to Rice, and that'll be a high fly ball near the dugout, and it will fall into foul territory. And Rice will remain at the plate.
Yeah, that was another interesting path for that one, for that that foul fly ball. And it will keep Brooke Rice at the plate.
2-2 to Rice. Tao looking to end the inning, and Rice puts a fly ball, and it'll be caught by Messer, the second baseman, to end the second inning in this scoreless pitcher's duel.
The 3 Thunderhawks converged on that ball, and with that, I think we're going to take a break and come back at the start of the third.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the Mesa Softball Complex as we're looking to kick off this third inning as Lakota East is looking to be the first to break the scoreboard as neither team has been able to field a hit so far in this game.
Yeah, neither team has really been able to get close to scoring at all. I don't think anyone's moved past first base just because there have been 2 walks in this game each by Buffenbarger, and no one else has really gotten any traction at all.
First pitch from Buffenbarger outside for ball 1. Brianna Kastner in the box for the Thunderhawks.
Got to suspect there's some relation to the coach there, into the network of coaches that is the Kastner family.
2-0 to Kastner. That'll be high and inside for ball number 3, and Kastner quickly finds herself in a hitter's count.
Yeah, this is exactly how East wants to start off. You know, Buffenbarger has not really let up very much, and starting off like this, a favorable count to the Thunderhawks is exactly how you want to go. And try to get something going.
Swing and a miss from Kastner will give the 9-hole hitter a full count.
Buffenbarger has the upper hand now. The script is completely flipped from how it was.
Kastner batting .421 on the year. Here's the full count, and a swing and a miss will give Buffenbarger her 3rd K of the night.
That was impressive. Coming back from a 3-0 count.
And it just shows how good Buffenbarger can be. 3 quick pitches, one that Kastner watched by, and then 2 missed swings. And just like that, 1 out to start the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, and Buffenbarger has a little bit of confidence there, showing some resilience.
And ball goes high and inside for ball number 1 against the leadoff hitter, Jacobson. Now the 1-0 from Buffenbarger. Jacobson looked like she wanted to run, chose not to swing, and it'll be outside for ball 2.
Buffenbarger getting behind early once again in the count. A little bit uncharacteristic of her from what we've seen in the first couple of innings.
Here's the 2-0 as a ball will be fouled over the home dugout, and Buffenbarger able to draw back even in this count. Here's the 2-1 from Buffenbarger. Another swing and a miss, and Buffenbarger close to getting another strikeout here.
A bit of changeup right there, and Buffenbarger once again has the upper hand. She has a little bit of wiggle room, and she gets the out. And a strikeout once again.
4th strikeout of the day for Buffenbarger. As number 2 hitter Messer comes into the box for the Hawks.
And Messer's one to watch. In the season, she is 2nd on the team with a .600 batting average and tied for 1st on the team coming into today with a .667 on-base percentage.
The 1-0 to Messer. Called a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, Buffenbarger just snuck that one in there in the strike zone in the bottom corner.
1-1 to Messer. Inside for ball number 2.
Messer had to back up a little bit to avoid that one.
As you see there, Messer with a .600 batting average.
Yeah, she's had a lot of success this year.
And the grounder will be fielded by Buffenbarger and caught by Harrison as Buffenbarger goes 1-2-3 in the 3rd, and it will be Tao's turn to answer back.
I mean, you've just seen throughout this game the top hitters in the GMC completely foiled by these top-notch pitchers. Buffenbarger and Tao have both been exceptional today, almost flawless, as we see no hits so far in this game. It's been quite an exciting game, if you like, a pitcher's battle. And now the Comets will have a chance in the bottom of the 3rd to try to get the first run, or at least get close to a run, because or a hit at least, because that kind of moral victory is what you need at this point. Because in the latter innings of the game, you're going to see someone get tired or let up and just have a bad pitch. One bad pitch is really all it takes.
As we saw from Harrison, if Tao misses one pitch, Harrison has the power. Zoe Bishop has the power. She has 2 home runs this year. Several batters throughout the Hawks lineup have the power. One swing could really decide this game, as we can see. There's yet to be a hit yet.
Yeah.
So if one of the batters is able to crack a home run, that could be the game.
Yeah, even Ellie Buffenbarger has a home run this year. The pitcher, I mean, really a dual threat. So if she or Elena Harrison, who both have one home run this year, can get it.
Buffenbarger singles up the middle, and that'll open this game up with the first hit as Buffenbarger wins that pitcher's battle against Tal, as she will come off for a pinch runner. Will be number 1, Abby Mullins.
And the first hit of the game is by none other than the pitcher. So the pitcher's battle draws that first hit. Who would have thunk it? And now let's see that hit, or that hit once again. Buffenbarger just getting it through the middle and getting to first base. So a single is the only hit we have in the bottom of the third thus far.
So now Ali Weekly, the freshman cracking the starting lineup for the Comets, steps into the box and watches ball number 1 go fly by. So you can see, starting off freshman year, batting .250, and she will take one right in her face mask as she'll stay in the box.
I'm not quite understanding as to how that's not an automatic walk, but she'll at least have a ball on the board and get an opportunity once again to get a hit.
I think it might actually have been glanced off of the bottom of her bat as it was called a strike, and now she faces a 1-2. Faces a 1-2 count.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's my bad. I thought I remembered.
And now a swing and a miss will end the at bat for Allie.
Yeah, we have one runner on base for the Comets, so it doesn't really matter unless something else happens, really, because since Tao's been so good, it might not mean anything except some moral confidence.
Aquilic tries to tap the ball, but it sails out of bounds as Abby Mullins was looking to run. As you can see, Aquila starting off sophomore season, number 9 hitter, not too shabby at .615 batting average, number 5 in the GMC.
Yeah, she's had a bit of a surprising season. On the Mason Comets website, she's not even listed on the varsity roster, so that just shows how she made an impression early on.
Aquila lays down the bunt and advances Mullins to second base, and the Comets will have a runner in scoring position as they will go back to the top of the order.
Yeah, and we stay with quality batters with this Comets lineup throughout, just because they have such good depth.
Rockstro watches the first pitch go by, sails outside of his ball.
2 outs. This is a crucial point with a runner on second. There's an opportunity to possibly get a run if there's a quality hit. Abby Mullins has to time it right in order
and
to
another
advance.
ball called, and Rockstro finds herself in a hitter's count at 3-0.
Yeah, and in this third inning, we have not seen as many strikes or as many quality pitches as we've seen from the first 2. It looks like both pitchers are starting to wear down a little bit, although it looks like it's affecting Tao more than it is Buffenbarger.
As ball inside for strike number 1. 3-1, 2 outs, and a ball sailed into right field, called fair as Mullins will come around to score. Rockstro stops at first base, and the Comets find themselves on the board, 1-0 here at home.
An absolutely perfect hit, exactly what the Comets needed to get on the board. I mean, I don't think in the second inning we would have thought we'd have seen a run this soon, just because of the tight pitcher's battle it has been, and we'll see if Tao can bounce back from it or if she falls off her game a little bit.
Ball inside is called a strike against Popovich as Rockstra steals second, and all of a sudden the Comets have another batter in scoring position.
Yeah, an effective decision right there by Rockstra to go after second, and a bit of an inaccurate throw by the catcher, Mackenzie Reich.
As Tao senses an issue, calls time to jog over to talk things over with Coach Kastner.
Popovich with an 0-1 count to deal with here. She most likely would have to hit it rather than go for the walk.
It's interesting to see how Popovich plays this with 2 outs now. The 0-1 to Pop. It will be sent into foul territory. The East catcher will be able to come over as Mackenzie Reich does make the catch right by the net. And that will end the top of the third as the first hit of the game is given up. And the Comets are on the board 1-0.
Yeah, and that was pretty crucial for especially this time in the game. Comets needed to get momentum. Both teams needed to get that first run, and the Comets came away with it. And we'll see if that really has that much of an impact. We expected a low-scoring game, but we really don't know if that means 1-0 or 3-2, or even 4-3 or 5-4. But it all figures to be a close game and a low-scoring game, just because of the quality of pitchers involved, and because of the season that both teams have had thus far, almost mirroring each other.
As the pressure will now be on Buffenbarger to hold the lead, now that she has really helped in giving the Comets the first 2 hits of the game.
Mm-hmm.
She will now be responsible for keeping it.
Let's just examine the run differential for both teams. The Comets in 7 games have outscored their opponent 71-12, and in GMC games they are 5-0 and have outscored opponents 48-3, now 49-3. Lakota East has outscored their opponents all GMC 60-5, now 60-6 with that last run. So both teams scoring about at least 10 times as many runs as they allow.
So definitely the first time each team has seen a team of this caliber.
Absolutely. No team has really been challenged significantly to this point. And this is really the game that's going to test both teams.
1-0 is outside to Manning. So Manning jogs over to get some words of advice.
And we do remind you that Lakota East is playing without the best player in the GMC, according to a local newspaper, in Rachel Lewis, which is absolutely incredible with the season they've had and the dominance they've shown.
Inside is ball 3, and Buffenbarger quickly finds herself in a 3-0 hole.
And she's done this a couple times before, and at least one of the times she's come back for it to get a strikeout, and she's on her way.
Ball right down the middle for strike number 1, and it'll be 3-1. That'll be high for ball number 4 as Buffenbarger gives up her 3rd walk of the game, but has yet to give up that first hit.
Yeah, 4th inning, and not any hits given up by Ellie Buffenbarger. That is quite an accomplishment, especially against the array of talented Lakota East batters that we've seen.
Butekoffer lays down the bunt. It'll be picked up by Rice, and Butekoffer will be thrown out at first, but is able to advance Manning to second base.
Yeah, and advancing someone to second is really the more important of those two, just because the closer to home plate you get, the more likely it is, obviously, that you'll get a run. And second base, really with many hits, can become a run quite easily. But again, Buffenbarger has not given up that hit just yet.
As that foul ball sails towards the track, and Haverland will be looking at a 1-1 with 1 out. Comets lead 1-0 here in the top of the 4th. Runner on second. 1-1 is struck down the third base line, came behind the third base, and called foul by the plate umpire.
Yeah, that looked like it might be fair, and then it spun out of play at the last second, and Comets will have a chance to get the second out right here.
1-2. Outside for the second ball. Haverland will remain at the plate. Two and 2 from Buffenbarger. Swing and a miss, and Buffenbarger gives her 5th K of the afternoon.
Yeah, that is quite an impressive stat, considering how good the batters that she struck out have been. And visibly upset after that was Haverland.
Yeah, second strikeout for Haverland.
Yeah, and she's the best on the team, I believe. Yeah, she is the best on the team. She's the one with the .632 batting average.
Cates steps into the box, struck out in her first at-bat, and faces a 1-0 count. And now 0-2 after fouling off the second pitch.
Buffenbarger is really in the zone right now. She is feeling it, and she is getting the best of almost everyone that comes to the plate.
0-2 to Cates. It's going to be in the dirt for a ball. Brooke Rice scrambles to pick it up and was looking for the throw as Buffenbarger corrals the throwback at the mound.
Yeah, a little bit of sloppy play right there by the Comets, as 2 dropped balls rather. That's something that,
as the ball bounces off the bottom of Cates' bat, and Buffenbarger throws out Cates at first and continues her hitless stretch here, and as we move into the middle of the 4th.
Yeah, her no-hit bid is still alive after 4 innings, and I would really be interested to see if she can keep that up, just because she has 2 shutouts on the year, and she has allowed runs and hits to lesser opponents, but I mean, really, she does look somewhat unstoppable out there.
As Tao will look to match her effort and keep the Comets from doing any more damage here in the bottom of the 4th. As we hit the halfway point here in this clash of 2 GMC Titans that really reign over the rest of the GMC conference.
And the question is this really the halfway point? And this really is a game that still could go into extra innings if Buffenbarger lets up a little bit and Tao keeps or rebounds from that last inning where she struggled with 2 outs. And she almost had that inning put away. And then she allowed a couple of hits, and the Comets came away with a run.
Yeah, it was a run that was made with 2 outs, as Coach Kastner of the Hawks calls a quick time to exchange some words with the plate umpire.
And waiting to bat, Olivia Hopkins on the year. Hopkins is batting .545 with also an on-base percentage of .545, so no walks for her yet. She's gotten all of her success by actual hits. So, and she's obviously aggressive in trying to hit rather than, avoiding those borderline strikes or balls.
The umpire then makes his way over to speak a few words to Coach Muff before now making his way back over to Kastner to get whatever Kastner needed cleared up.
Yeah, his body language is showing that he's pretty upset about something, or at least,
Definitely
there's some
frustrated
urgent,
about something that's going on.
Something that he wants taken care of. But either way, he lets up, and we are ready to start the bottom of the fourth.
Hopkins takes a look at Tao before stepping into the box. First pitch, Hopkins showed bunt, pulled away, and it's outside for ball number 1. And the 1-0 to Hopkins is fouled back, and it will be a 1-1 to start off the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, each of the 2 pitches she's seen, Hopkins has tried to go for that slapstick.
And a ball fouled backwards by Hopkins. Bounces off the window of the press box once more, and Hopkins will be looking at a pitcher's count of 1-2.
Every time I'm here, I wonder why they don't make that net extend just a little bit higher, because it would stop so many more foul balls from coming into the stands and the press box.
Pitch number 4 high for Hopkins, 2-2. As Elena Harrison warms up in the warm-up circle. In the on-deck circle, excuse me, as Hopkins will foul one off down the first base line. And she'll remain in the box at 2-2.
2-2 count. The pressure is on Hopkins right now.
Fly ball will be run under by Messer, the second baseman, and corralled, and Hopkins will have to jog her way back into the dugout after a good at-bat, forcing, I believe it was 6 pitches from Tao.
And that's another moral victory for the Comets as you exhaust some of the energy of Tao and wear her down for those last couple of innings. And that's something that Buffenbarger has done, is get those long counts, those 3-2s that you don't really like to see, and you wonder if that's going to have an effect on her as well.
Ball outside for 1-0 count as Harrison, big swing and a miss for strike 1.
And that's what she's about, those big swings and those big hits that get her on base. And she's good at picking spots that can't be caught, and that's why she leads the GMC in both batting average and on base percentage.
2-1 to Harrison. Fouled off back into the stands, and that one will be corralled by the home stands.
Yeah, that was another one that went over the net. And I think 4 or 5 have gone over that threshold so far.
As Harrison watches ball number 3 fly by, and Tao finds herself in a full count.
Another
that
full
does
count.
once again show her, the power of the players, that no matter how high the net is, there's going to be foul balls over it with how strong these girls are. Harrison, another foul ball. This one flies over the press box, and I'm sure made its way over to Cora Nixon Drive.
Yeah, I mean, I always wonder if any damage to a car has ever been done. I mean, you got to think that at least there's been a bit of a shock to someone driving on that road.
Full count will be inside for ball number 4 against Harrison, and Harrison, after an 8-pitch at bat, will jog over to first base.
That's what the Comets like to see. really wearing down Tao and setting themselves up for a possible run or streak of good hits in the 6th or 7th.
It's Harrison looking like she was wanting to run as Zoe Bishop was looking to lay down the bunt.
And that was just came off her stick the wrong way. Zoe Bishop, or her bat the wrong way, excuse me. Zoe Bishop, 642 batting average this season. She's been another one of those sophomore surprises for the Comets.
A swing and miss by Bishop and a risky move made by the catcher Reich as a bad throw went by first baseman, and the first error of the game will result in Harrison moving into scoring position. That'll definitely change the strategy for Bishop at the plate, facing 0-2.
Reich was not happy with herself. After that, she slandered her glove down on the field.
And a foul ball off the net behind the plate, and Bishop will stay in the at-bat.
And
Tao pitching.
Yeah, getting those fouls when you have 2 strikes is crucial to keeping Tao on the mound.
And Bishop swings and misses for strike 3, and Brooke Rice will step into the box to try and
Tao in 4 pitches had 0 balls right there. So that was a string of accurate pitches from her, maybe rebounding from the...
And a line drive by Brooke Rice over the second baseman, and Harrison coming home and will walk over home plate to give the Comets a 2-0 lead.
I mean, I opened my mouth and I made my point, and then I was immediately disproven, and the Comets take a 2-0 lead. Elena Harrison coming home after getting on base because of a walk. So 2-0 Comets lead in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. Once again, a run with 2 outs. I mean, that's a crucial point in any inning because the pitcher is focused on just ending it as soon as possible, and the batters are making their last-ditch efforts to get something on the board.
Tao can really never let up as into the game pinch running for Brooke Rice is senior Bree Grimes. I believe last year she led the team in steals, so definitely look for her to be sprinting over to second base. 2 outs now as Buffenbarger steps up into the plate, singled in her first at-bat. No even look from right to first base. Oh, 0-1 to Buffenbarger glances off the helmet of Reich. Reich will shake it off and step back behind the plate, and Buffenbarger will be facing an 0-2.
Buffenbarger has 1 hit in this game already. The pitcher, not really her specialty, but she's, with her home run this year, she's shown that she can be effective on both offense and defense.
It's oftentimes not why her name would be in the papers, but definitely contributes to the Comets' win. 0-2 to Buffenbarger. Will be slowing in the dirt, and Grimes will be able to steal second base.
Grimes is just the specialized speedster out there. Just her main job is to, as you said, steal bases as she led the team in last year, and to try to steal a run, not steal home plate, but to steal a run whenever she can by advancing herself.
And a hard hit ball down to right field will be caught in the outfield by Cates to end the 4th inning, and the Comets will head into the top of the 5th. We'll head into the field with a 2-run cushion, and Buffenbarger will look to continue her excellence from the mound.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Mason, Ohio, as the Mason Comets are looking to continue their scoreless defense, as the Lakota East Hawks are looking to rebound after giving up one more run to the Mason Comets and find themselves down 2-0.
I mean, you could say the Comets' dominance, although I mean they have just a 2-run cushion, but they have been the only team to get a hit so far in this game.
Buffenbarger opens up the fifth with catching the strike zone for 0-1 to Tao, who steps into the box.
Pitcher against pitcher. Buffenbarger has one hit, as we mentioned, and we'll see if Tao can replicate that and get her team moving in the right direction.
It was actually Buffenbarger that had the first hit of the game, so Tao will be looking to replicate that effort for her own Hawks squad.
And with the way these teams have replicated each other's, that one worked its way into the press box and was retrieved by Eric Miller, the operator of the scoreboard.
And
I should have just tossed it right back to her.
now Ellie Buffenbarger with the 1-2 to Tao, and a ball will be sailed into right field, and a diving catch made by Jillian Aquila out in right field.
What an insane catch, a diving catch made by Aquila to keep Buffenbarger's no-hit bid alive here in the fifth inning.
That's when pitcher definitely has to give props to the outfielder.
Right. Just
as,
incredible
one
effort.
out now to Reich now in the batter's box.
That's how almost got that first hit. It's not often you see two pitchers getting the first hit for their respective teams.
Reich popped out in her first at-bat and now faces a hitter's count at 2-0. And outside for ball number 3 as Buffenbarger finds herself in a bit of a hole.
Yeah, but she's been here before, and she's gotten out of it before multiple times in this game. So it's not going to be easy for her to get out of this
Definitely
one.
not phased by it.
Absolutely.
Ball high for ball number 4, and Reich will accept a 4-ball walk. As that was the 4th walk of the game for Buffenbarger, but
Let's
give up a hit.
Let's go back to Aquila's catch in right field. Just laying out there and making that catch just with the tip of her glove. Incredible play to get the first out of the inning for the Comets.
Now Buffenbarger will have to deal with a runner on first base. And 9-hitter Kastner at the plate as Kastner calls a quick time before stepping back into the box. Buffenbarger high, and Brooke Rice came up looking to throw, looking to gun the runner down at second there.
And Buffenbarger has not thrown a strike in the last 2 at-bats. She needs to get in that zone. And she finally does.
You see ball catching the square, and Buffenbarger now with more even count at 1-1. Now though, 1-1 to Kastner, fouled up and back, but caught by Brooke Rice as almost a mimic of the drill they practiced right before the game, where a ball is fouled up right behind the plate. As I saw a little bit of passion from Buffenbarger there as she congratulated Rice after catching the foul ball. Buffenbarger definitely pumped to be in this situation against East. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th.
And that was good awareness right there by Brooke Rice to get up and catch that low foul ball.
Now with 2 outs, Jacobson is going to pop it up, and it'll be caught by Buffenbarger on the mound to end the top of the 5th. And Buffenbarger with 4 walks, but no hits.
And that's any way you can get that kind of performance is a success. And we will be back at the start of the 5th.
So we'll be looking for Kiana Tao to make something happen from the mound and get back on track from where she was back in the 2nd inning, as Kiana Tao actually went through the first 2 innings with she pitched 2 perfect innings to start off the game here today, but then gave up 1 run in each of the last 2 innings, the 3rd and the 4th, and Mason looking to keep that streak going here at the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, they have done a good job of getting some traction in the last couple innings, and with just 3, potentially 2, if it ends at the top of the 7th, they really just have to continue to tire out Tao and to continue to have success and get a couple walks and a couple hits whenever they can get them.
And a line drive will be caught by Messer, the second baseman. And just like that, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, that was not a great place to hit it right there. Right to the second baseman, Hannah Messer, who caught that with relative ease. Gotta try to rebound right here, does Jillian Aquila.
Aquila fouls one off to start the at-bat. In her first appearance at the plate, she laid down a sac bunt to advance the first score of the game, Abby Mullins. Now looking to take the bases herself, and a ball outside called for a strike, and Aquila's looking at 0-2.
Not exactly how Aquila wants to start this out, and with a very good upper hand right now is Tao.
Aquila hits one over the shortstop head, and that will fall into shallow left center, and Aquila will take first base.
3 Thunderhawks converged on it, but none of them came away with it as it hit the ground first.
Excellent job of Aquila to find the holes in the defense.
Absolutely. She hit it in pretty much the one place she could in that general area for that height at least. And she has a single. It's just 1 out at the bottom of the 5th.
Now Erin Rockstra will make her 3rd appearance at the plate, as dodges a inside ball and maintains to prevent herself from swinging all the way around, and now looks at an 0-1 count. To Rockstra is low and just over the plate for ball 1. Two 0-1 count to Rockstra. She'll lay down the bunt, but it will roll foul for the third baseman.
Yeah, that stayed on the line for a while, and it just barely crept out into foul territory, and she'll have another chance to get a hit.
Something decision that has to be made by the split-second decision that has to be made by the first baseman, whether or not to take the chance at letting that ball roll foul.
Right, and it looked like she would have had a successful hit there if it had been just inches, or maybe just an inch closer inside.
Rockstro fouls it backwards and now finds herself at 2-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And a runner on first.
Sophomore Julian Aquila on first base. Rockstro at the plate. Fouls one over the visitor stands and back towards corners and driving the parking lot.
Once again, dragging it out. Tao is getting kind of tired, I imagine, of these long at-bats where it's kind of a stalemate between the two. Repeated foul balls.
And a ball hit hard but straight to Messer as Aquila stays, and Rockstro, will jog back to the dugout with 2 outs on the scoreboard.
Yeah, even though she hasn't gotten the better of this pitching battle so far, Kiana Tao really going to drag down the numbers of all of the top-ranking Mason batters, as they have not had the success that they usually do. Of course, it's not easy to replicate that success every day.
Popovich lays down the perfect bunt right too far for the catcher, and third baseman for the Hawks, Brianna Kastner, has to run up and can't quite run up in time as Popovich shows that striker speed for the soccer team as she bolts down and makes it to first base.
And a photo finish right there, if you will, as the ball and the runner got there at the exact same time.
And Olivia Hopkins will step into the box with runners on first and second and 2 outs.
Yeah, this is an absolutely huge at-bat right here. You have 2 runners on base, potentially 3 runs if it's hit out of the park, which I don't imagine is likely, but you never know with this team.
Tower gets a correct call and will be delivering this 2-0 to Hopkins. Umpire calls a strike on the inside of the strike zone, and it'll be 2-1.
That's a bit of a surprise considering how close it was to Olivia Hopkins.
Two and 1 to Hopkins will be sent over the outstretched arms of the shortstop. Julian Aquila coming home, ball too high for the catcher, and Aquila advances and is able to score. But Hopkins is caught leading off too far after the hit, and she's thrown out at first. However, the run will score for Aquila, and the Comets continue their streak of 1-run innings, as they will now take a 3-0 lead heading into the top of the 6th.
Yeah, the reason Aquila scored is because the catcher, Mackenzie Reich, was just off of home plate when she caught it. If she were on home plate, that would not have been, at least it would not have been easy for Aquila to score. And let's take a look at that play once again, as so many things happened that impacted this game. And as you can see, just
Aquila,
in front of home plate.
No force out there, and Aquila barely able to dodge the tag. Gets lucky that it was, in fact, a high throw, and is able to score there. And then just after that, Hopkins caught too far away from first base.
Yeah, Hopkins wanted to go to second, but then she realized she didn't have enough time to get there. But she kind of got stuck because she didn't have enough time to get back to first either.
And as you can see, Ellie Buffenberger still holding the Lakota East Thunderhawks to a 0 under the hits column. So it'll be interesting to see as the Hawks likely only have 2 more at-bats.
I mean,
If they are not able to get anything going.
no hitters are the kind of thing that often go away in the last couple of innings. But with the way Buffenbarger's pitched thus far against a team of this caliber has been quite impressive. And the same goes for Tao.
First pitch from Buffenbarger is right inside for a strike 1.
Hannah Messer aggressively trying to get herself into it and get into a position to get a good hit. She's had immense success on the year. As we mentioned, 7th in the GMC. 6 out of 10 of her bats she successful on.
And a ball will go to second base, and Olivia Hopkins will be able to just beat out Messer sprinting to first base.
Yeah,
One
that
out
was
here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, that was incredibly close, as Buffenbarger couldn't quite get to it to catch it for an out, but a successful pass to first base kept the no-hitter alive.
And a hard hit ball foul by Manning.
I think that one went into the high school parking lot across the street.
So the 0-1 Manning. Comets lead 3-0 here in the top of the 6th. Outside for Buffenbarger, now 1-1.
5 outs potentially until the end of the game for Buffenbarger.
Hard hit ball into left center and just out to the outstretched arms of Zoe Bishop, and Manning will break open the hit column for the Hawks as the homestands applaud the 5 1/3 perfect or no hit innings by Ellie Buffenbarger.
Yeah, and all you can say to that hit, it was perfectly placed. And let's take a look at it once again. Just in between the center fielder and the left fielder.
Neither Bishop nor Popovich really had a chance to see Bishop, even with a bit of a dive, was still coming up short.
Placed perfectly in the middle of those two, and no chance for either one of them to come up with it.
Now Buffenbarger needs to remember that she still has to defend this 3-run cushion that she has. As Butekoffer fouls another one off and is looking at a 1-1 count.
Yeah, Butekoffer fouled that one and is going to try to drag this out to try to fatigue Buffenbarger just a little bit.
Swing and a miss from Butekoffer. And it's 1-2 with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Runner on first base for the Hawks. The 1-2 to Butekoffer is going to be hit into foul territory, and Butekoffer will remain at the plate.
You just live another day at this point, and Butekoffer will have one more chance at least to get to a base.
1-2 to Butekoffer. Outside, and it'll be ball number 2. As Buffenbarger looking to try and get Butekoffer to chase outside.
Yeah, that was a strategic move by Buffenbarger to try to draw that hit.
And a swing and a miss will prove the second out of the inning, as Comets are 1 out away from getting out of the top of the 6th.
Yeah, Buffenbarger did a good job of placing that. Placed it a little too high to hit, but made it look like that it was going to be right in the middle of the strike zone.
6th strikeout for Buffenbarger, as Heverland punches one over the left field line.
And that was a lot of power on that hit, but well outside the foul line.
0-1 to Haverland. Haverland checks her swing, but ball glances off the bat, and it'll be 0-2. Haverland struck out in both of her first 2 plate appearances. Oh, 0-2 to Haverland, way outside, and good eye for Haverland there to keep the bat on her shoulder.
And Haverland's someone that needs to be a leader in this type of game. She's the one who's had success, rain or shine, or not rain because games aren't played that much during rain, but wind or shine, I guess, because she's had success during every game virtually, and she just hasn't this game.
Haverland fouls one more off, and it'll be 1-2. Buffenberger 1 strike away from getting through the top of the 6th. The 1-2 to Haverland. And it'll be another foul ball. This time off the plate net.
I gotta imagine Buffenbarger's getting a little anxious here, just wanting to get out of this inning without affecting the score.
1-2 remains the count, and a changeup gets Haverland to swing early. And another strikeout for Ellie Buffenbarger as she continues her pitching excellence. As we now will move into the bottom of the 6th, and the Comets will look to try to put up a insurpassable figure on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and this is getting down to the wire here. And this is a crucial point for both teams, especially Lakota East, because you just have to keep chugging along if you're the pitcher for Lakota East, Kiana Tao, and if you're Mason, you just want to bury this game right here and right now.
Tao will come back out to the mound for inning number 6. And we'll try to end the Comets' 3 straight inning run of scoring a run in each inning.
And they've been fairly consistent throughout the game after being held scoreless the first 3 innings, earning 1 run in each of the last 3 for innings.
Harrison comes to the plate with 0-1 with also a walk, and she was also able to score the 2nd run of the game. So looking for that first hit of the night as she watches pitch number 1 fly by for her ball. Second pitch will be inside, and Harrison getting into a hitter's count of 2-0.
Yeah, she's being patient. She's not taking any chances so far and just waiting for that perfect pitch to come her way.
Umpire calls that one strike 1, and 2-1 will be the count for Harrison. The leading batting average in the GMCA coming into this game. 2-1 to Harrison, strike 2.
Harrison hasn't done much to help her batting average this game. As you said, 0 for 1, but that walk will keep her on base percentage up a little bit.
She always does find a way to get on base, as you mentioned, over 800, which is absolutely ridiculous. As she watches ball number 3 fly high, and Tao finds herself in a full count in the first batter of the inning.
When you have an 800 on base percentage, you leave so little room for error. And you really can't make too many mistakes.
Hard hit ball into left center, and it is gone. Elena Harrison, home run, bottom of the 6th, and just like that, Comets are up 4-0 as they all jump out to congratulate Harrison coming around to home plate after the homer.
The sheer strength on that solo shot from Elena Harrison really setting the tone and taking the energy out of the Lakota East Thunderhawks.
Harrison's second home run of the year and of her varsity career.
She moves into third place in the GMC in home runs, or at least tied for third place with 2 home runs.
As Kiana Tao now comes up to exchange some words with the umpire. And
that was...
It's a little weird moment there as Kiana Tao, something possibly looked like she wanted to throw the ball back to the field umpire. As now she converses with her infield to try and get 3 outs and get out of this inning to try and give the Hawks a chance to get something going in the top of the 7th. As there are no outs as Zoe Bishop steps up to the plate.
Yeah, this is going to be a long inning for Tao if this keeps up.
And Bishop line drive to center, and Bishop will take first base.
Is that the first time this game we've seen 2 consecutive hits?
Yes, it is.
I'm not used to seeing this much, just based on how this game has conditioned me, and it seems like Tao is really being affected now.
Now Wright steps up to the plate with a runner on first and no outs. Comets already with a 4-0 lead. Rice checks her swing and lets ball 1 fly by.
Right in there, one time you. Just went back a couple steps.
Now Tao just has to prevent 3 straight hitters from being successful.
And a fly out to the catcher behind home plate.
It's the first out of the inning for the Thunderhawks, and let's take a look at that beautiful home run earlier in the inning. Lana Harrison just got all of that, and it sailed out of the park, allowing her to easily round the bases.
Buffenbarger steps up to the plate with 1 out and watches ball 1 fly by.
Buffenbarger's had some power in this game so far from the plate.
As changeup goes low and in the dirt. And Buffenbarger will be looking at 2-0 count. Two and out to Buffenbarger is hit hard into right field and will be caught for the out. And Bishop will be caught leading too far off from first base. And tough break there for the Comets, but they will now move into possibly the last half of the inning in this ballgame as Buffenbarger will look to complete her shutout of the Lakota East Thunderhawks in a very dominant performance over a GMC powerhouse.
And let's take a look at that last play that ended the inning. Double play from the Lakota East Thunderhawks, and just not getting there in time. That was a call that really could have gone either way. But at the end of 6, 1 hit for the Thunderhawks, 8 for the Comets. The difference is 4 in favor of the Comets. And with 1 inning left, Comets will try to put this away. And after the first couple innings, we would not have expected to say that this would be a dominant performance by the Comets.
I wouldn't really say a dominant performance, but as far as Buffenbarger's pitching, Buffenbarger has absolutely been excellent so far in this game. And it's just the Thunderhawks just haven't been able to get the bats going. And it's not like we're looking at like an 8-0 game. It's just that Buffenbarger has been so dominant. I'm not sure if Thunderhawks runner has even reached second base. And Thunderhawk runner has yet to reach third base. So that shows Buffenbarger, when she does let one runner on base, it's briefly and the only runner that will get on that inning.
Based on the performance in the first 2 innings, you could even argue that Lakota East had an edge because Tao was throwing a perfect game at that point. And Buffenbarger had allowed 2 walks. I mean, no one really had gotten anything substantial, but after that, in the 3rd inning, tide slowly started to turn in the Comets' favor.
First pitch at the top of the 7th. Strike for Ellie Buffenbarger. As it is the right fielder, Cates, who's looking to make something happen here for the Comets. 0-1 to Cates, and another strike called, 0-2. As Buffenbarger hot so far here in the 7th. 0-2 to Cates, fouled back.
Buffenbarger wants to put this away as fast as she can and without causing any substantial harm. She's going to try to preserve that shutout and finish this one strong.
Buffenbarger is just such on a hot streak right now. Looking to keep it going, 0-2 to Cates. And another foul ball will be sent and will land onto Cora Nixon Drive as Cates shows off a little bit of her power.
And a couple of foul balls here, stretching this one out. An 0-2 count still. It remains.
And another foul ball we fouled and will land on the home dugout as we'll be looking at the 6th pitch of the at-bat, and we have yet to see the first strike and yet to see the first ball.
Right. Yeah, it's not often that you see these many foul balls in a row.
As a ball flies high over Brooke Rice's head, and that would be ball 1 for Buffenbarger.
Buffenbarger still staying calm at the mound, even though this has not been her at-bat, even though she would, in most at-bats, be in position to have it ended.
And a swing and a miss will prove the first out of the 7th. And Ellie Buffenbarger gets her, I believe it's the 7th K of the night. And it's actually the 8th strikeout of the night for Ellie Buffenbarger.
Ellie Buffenbarger has been amazing in this game so far. She's really taken the lead and not allowed any Lakota East batter to get anything going at all.
The 1-0 to Tao. Up high for ball 2.
Still just 1 hit allowed in the entire game by Buffenbarger.
Two 2-0 to Tao is up high again for ball number 3. Now the hitters count for Tao. Tao fakes bunt, now pulls back and lets the first strike fly by. 3-1.
Buffenbarger now gaining a little bit of momentum in this at-bat and just going to try to capitalize on that.
And another strike called, and all of a sudden Tao finds herself in a full count.
Yeah, one of Buffenbarger's greatest strengths in this game has been turning a batter's count into at least a full count and sometimes even a strikeout.
3-2 to Tao. Will be a punch out, and the first punch out of the game for Ellie Buffenbarger, as now the Comets are 1 out away from shutting out the Lakota East Thunderhawks. Definitely be a way to end it if Buffenbarger is able to get 3 straight Ks, as first pitch goes outside. 9 strikeouts in this game for Ellie Buffenbarger.
Kenzie Reich is could be the last person to stand in Buffenbarger's path.
Second ball high for ball 2.
Reich just trying to mount a comeback at this point, a miracle comeback that would, really change the landscape of this season if achieved, but the likelihood of that at this point with 2 outs in the 7th inning does not seem very likely.
Buffenbarger gives up a 4-pitch walk to Reich, and Reich will take first base, and now third baseman Brianna Kastner comes into the box as Reich will be pinch ran for at first base. And Buffenbarger will be looking to end this one here before having to face the top of the lineup. First ball inside for strike 1.
That one was another one that was in the corner of the strike zone, but a very well-placed pitch by Buffenbarger, and it's no 1 count.
A foul ball tipped back to the net, and Buffenbarger is 1 strike away from a shutout.
Yeah, not the smartest swing right there.
Kastner very defensive in the box. Now the 0-2 to Kastner. High and outside for ball number 1. Buffenbarger with plenty of room to work with in a 1-2 count. Kastner still in trouble. One and 2 to Kastner. Swing and a miss, and the 10th strikeout of the night for Ellie Buffenbarger. Ellie Buffenbarger will put the punchline on this win for the Mason Comets as the Comets take down visiting Lakota East by a final score of 4-0, and in an absolute dominant performance by junior Ellie Buffenbarger, a complete game 1 hitter. She gave up 4 walks, but really controlled the Comet win from first to 7th inning.
A fitting end to a dominant performance for the Mason Comets. Just all around good defensive play, good hustle from all of the outfielders to prevent those hits, and by Buffenbarger and all the infielders to prevent the infield fly balls. Just a great all-around performance.
As we now wrap up from Mason Softball Complex, thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Judy, alongside Thomas Mariner. Good evening, folks.